it keeps getting better and better. This is my review of Super Megaforce, the Blue Saber Saga, which I think was a very nice and possibly one of the best episodes they've done so far to date. So let's go break into the series. First off, starts off with the big, the Emperor and this guy coming in and saying, I can do this with my sword, cut, 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 and it seems that they're impressed. Now, I noticed one little thing is the Emperor, I can't remember his name at the moment, but he's still talking as, it's going on, so I kind of think they cut that out, but it's very nice to introduce the monsters straight away rather than something opening on a ranger. So then you jump to having Noah looking at his computer, and then Emma comes walking in and saying like, oh, would you be able to help me? And he's like, no, you can do what you want, I don't really care right now, I'm doing my Facebooking, because it does look like he's on Facebook. But Emma's like, oh, have fun whatever you're doing, and it just seems like a bit of a, I really can't be bothered, convincing you, so I'm just gonna walk out. And then all of a sudden Noah changes his mind and he's like, oh, I didn't actually get that friend request I wanted, so I'm going to go and help Emma. And Emma just gives them all the stuff and says, do you know what? Yeah, you can have it. And it's just like, well, why don't you carry your tripod? It just seems like Noah's carrying it all. One little joke I liked, and I think this might have been possibly the best one I've seen in this particular episode, is when he turns around and says, well, I'm not just a gentleman, secretly I'm a superhero. And she's like, oh, don't worry, I won't tell anyone. And I kind of like that. It starts like the chemistry bonding between the two. And this episode's quite nice. I'm going to explain a bit more later. The monster comes down and starts attacking, and the X-Borg's like, clapping, because he's destroying the city, which I'm guessing the bad guys would do. It's like kind of nice. And then suddenly, the Pink and Blue Ranger, Emma and Noah, they run up and they start saying, hey, stop. And then the monster starts insulting Emma to some degree. And again, Noah kind of steps up and he's like, look, stop it. And even though I'm not a really big fan of his character, it seems like he's now kind of growing up a bit more, and he's kind of stepping up to the game and maybe becoming a bit like Joe, which again is a quite nice little touch to character development. So again, they all morph, and the others come up and they morphing time, blah blah blah, and they go from Megaforce to Super Megaforce. My back is itchy. Must be there. And then they start fighting. It's like something, the same thing, like the main monster goes with Joe, because it's the episode where it's like the swordsman episode or something. And then they start fighting, and it just seems to be more, I don't know, I see at this sort of point in time, I've detached myself from Gokaija and Megaforce and stuff like that, and I'm seeing that Megaforce is bringing its own characters to the thing, its own unique twist to it, which is a very nice little touch that I've seen. Noah seems to get beaten, and this is, instead of like I've noticed with all Ranger series, instead of him turning around saying, I don't, here's my morph, I have it, I don't want it, it shows determination. And in this episode it shows that even if you get beaten or if you lose at something, you are then turning around and you are actually giving it your all, and I kind of like that a lot. It just showed more progression in character than I've seen since Megaforce, the season 1. It works really, really well. So again, Noah disappears and stuff, and Jake turns around and says, oh yeah, we gotta go find them, to Emma. And Emma's like, okay, well, we'll go here. Jake knows where he is, but then all of a sudden, the teacher comes out and calls him James, and it's like, I need your help. So that was kind of a nice thing, so rather than just having Jake and Emma wandering the halls type thing. It comes into the training thing, where if you look at the Gokaija footage, it's pretty much similar shots. It's very, very well done and very nice, and it felt like, again, like the series is giving you its own unique tale to it. There was not mainly many gripes, because originally I thought that from seeing the clip when Noah gets his arm cut in the series, there's nothing there, it's just a clean wound. But when looking quite closely, you can see that there's actually a little bit of dirt, which kind of gives it more realism, but it would have been interesting if it was a little bit of red dirt, just so that, he is bleeding type thing. So he goes around through all the training, and he suddenly defeats and goes, yes, I've finally done this, I know exactly what I've done and what I'm doing. So he kind of gets this technique. So again, it's the same sort of thing, where he is now on the beach waiting to fight the monster, and the monster cheats. Bit of a dickish move, but he's a monster, he's a bad guy, so it's kind of in sync with that one. He learns the technique and they start fighting. He does his 1000 thing, and one thing, this is something different, which I'm guessing, which I kind of thought of when they first started the series. Originally when they go like Go Megaforce, they have the Gosei morphers, but in this one he jumps straight to using super mode, so it kind of leaves redundant the whole Gosei morpher, because they could just literally just pull out the key straight away and morph, which would be a lot easier rather than going through the whole suit changes. But again, this might come up later on, or this might have been a one-off thing. I'm hoping that they'll use the whole transform straight to super mode, because rather than going like Megaforce and thing, it was just literally go super mode, or it's super mode, whatever. I can't remember what we said, but it instantly changes. And again, Emma does it. It kind of switched between the beach episode and stuff, and I kind of would have liked to see the same thing as what they did in Gokaija, when AIM is running towards the camera, morphing straight away. So it kind of, it was a little bit off-putting when obviously she's like, it's Megaforce, and they probably do this and straight into the key and then morph like that. So it's kind of weird about that. Into the next part where you have the whole fighting thing. Now, rather than leaving the things at the end, I'm going to talk about the bad things as well as the good things. So far, I only saw 2 bad things through the entire series, and we're coming up to those. So literally all the other Rangers come in straight away and they start fighting, and it switches to the point where the Rangers are fighting the X-Borgs and the big blue, I'm going to call them Super X-Borgs because I can't remember their names. And one thing I noticed is that Emma has a sword back, and then in another scene it's gone, and it kind of thinks, well, you just gave Noah your sword, why do you have a sword? And then everyone's got one. So it just kind of think like maybe they filmed it before, or maybe they thought this would be something different, but to me it kind of ruined, not much, but it was like, oh, again, you're going back to your editing errors, or you're not paying attention on set. I like the fact that when the Rangers transform into the Rangers, they, you know, it's the whole thing of like, you know, they call the names again. So it was Jungle Fury and then SPD. One thing that I didn't quite like with the SPD morph is like they go like Legendary SPD, and then it waits a bit and they go like SPD Emergency. It would have been Legendary SPD Emergency would have been kind of better, but again, it's nice to see that they're using the suits and they're kind of following in it. They used the Geki Ranger suits again, which I liked, and Doc, again, I'm not associating Doc with Jake, which I originally thought would have happened. Originally I would have thought you know, they would have done the same thing, but again, I don't know, they seem to be making Doc not look like the bumbling idiot, or the, you know, the person that doesn't have much confidence or doesn't know what he's doing. And it just seems it works. I'm starting to really like the series. My next gripe with it was when Joe gets all the swords, and he does, and Gozei turns around and says, "You can use the legendary blue keys." And then when he's using it, he's using the Gozei blue key, or, you know, Megaforce blue key. Now, to me, I was like, why would you use that? You would use another Blue Ranger and kind of do what you did in the first episode and compose someone else. Because now it just means that with that key, you don't really need the Megaforce cards, you don't need the morphers, and you can literally now, anyone could be, you know, any of the Megaforce Rangers. So I don't know why they left that in. I'm very, very confused about that. I don't know, I'm very about it, and I don't know why. So if you kind of want to have your explanation, put it down in the comments below. I would like to know about this. They've got the Magi Dragon, and obviously because a friendship and working together, which I kind of see. And then they got the Magi Dragon. At the very end of the episode, you have like Noah looking at the Magi Blue key, and then he starts talking about it, and the Red Ranger goes like, "Do you know what you call this one?" And then they put their hands together and go like the ending. So yeah, I kind of liked it. That's kind of a breakdown of roughly what happened with it. My thoughts on the episode is it was very beautifully well shot, and this is something that surprised me, because at certain times when Noah's training, they had like really nice shots going off into the thing, so to show progress of time. Now this is something that we've not really seen much in the Rangers, because normally it would either go from day to night. Guessing at points in like Wild Force they've done it, but I can't remember. But in most of the things, I've never seen this in the Ranger series. Using a scene for scene shots as well, it's kind of nice. Again, it's something that's not really been done. I know Samurai was a complete rip of Shinkenger, but using this sort of thing of like adding in extra things, it just seems nicer. It just seems that there was more progression with the characters. It just seems that altogether, it seems to be a nicer episode. Having, let's say, them all work together, and it just seems that they are now having character development, and now you can kind of relate to these characters. So I kind of really like it. I kind of think it's going to be a good series. I think out of all the ones they've done, to me, the Super Megaforce is going to be, I think, maybe my 4th favourite Ranger series. And I'm really excited to see how they're doing it. I really like the fact that they're using 2 episodes in one, and this is kind of able to get through it. You know, having these 2 things mixed together would make it a lot better, and I think it works really well. I've not seen any bad editing moves apart from the 2 that I mentioned, and But yeah, I like it. I think it's a very good episode. I think that the next episode is going to be just as good, and I'm sure there's going to be clips on. So yeah, that's it. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much my review and my thoughts on the episode. It's very beautifully well shot. It kind of engrossed me in the story, and it kind of brought things together, and I really liked it. Now your question today is, have you seen the episode? What did you think? And do you think that Super Megaforce is going to get even better, or do you hate it? So let me know down below in the comments. If you've liked this video, like, favorite, subscribe, and share with your friends. And I shall see you guys for the next Megaforce review, and also for the next video. And I'll see you guys in a bit.